It was very scary quitting my job and being
yeah.
like, shoot, this is gonna be my job, you know? Like, this is my only job. This is it.
Welcome to the Spark Your Legacy podcast. My name is Kevin Andrade. I am the owner and founder of Spark Tax Services. And on this podcast, we talk to small business owners and entrepreneurs from various different industries to gain their perspective on how they started, their journey along the way, and where they are today. So here we go. Enjoy this episode. So welcome everybody to another episode of the Spark Your Legacy podcast. Today, I have a very extraordinary guest. She's one of the best bakers in the DMV area. This is Mendy Silva from the Silva Whisk.
Hi guys.
How are you doing, Mendy?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Just to kind of clarify, I guess, for because I know you know, but this is our second time recording this episode.
Yeah.
Because the first time that we recorded it,
it's okay.
We had a lot of technical issues, and so
it happens.
Thank you again for coming out. I appreciate it. I know
Of
you're
course.
very busy, traveling everywhere.
No worries, I know.
A lot of cakes, and for some celebrities. I think I
Yeah.
saw in the past couple weeks. So you've been killing it. Super busy.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. And then you're also planning a wedding this year.
Yeah.
So you're running a full-time business. You're getting married, and then you just mentioned that you're thinking about skydiving now.
Yeah. I'm training for a half marathon,
And a
skydiving.
marathon.
I have 2 kids.
Yep.
So
Just doing it all,
it's a
super
lot.
mom.
Yeah, exactly.
No, awesome. So if you want to give the audience kind of just some background about you, who's Mendy Silva, like where'd you grow up, from the area?
So I own the Silva Whisk. I do cupcakes, cakes. Well, the main thing is cakes, and cakesicles, which is basically like a cake popsicle thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm originally from the DMV area. I grew up in a little town called Boyd's, Maryland. No one really knows where that is, but it's literally in between Clarksburg and Germantown.
It's like super small.
It's very tiny. Yeah, like Black Hills Park. That's where everyone's like, oh, that's where it is.
Yeah.
I went to Clarksburg High School, and I went to college in D.C., but I've stayed here my whole life. I mean, I love Maryland. So yeah, I'm a local. I actually work for people all over the DMV. So I've done deliveries all in Virginia, DC, all over Maryland. I actually just delivered a cake to New York City. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, that was insane.
Yeah,
How'd you do that? Like, did you come up with the idea on your own?
Yeah, so my best friend lives in New York City, Catalina, which and so I told her, I said, I'm going to plan a cake. I'm going to do a cake. I'm going to work it out. If I can do it, I'm going to do it. If not, I'm sorry, but I'll make it up.
That looked like a bulletproof case.
So that's it's called a Cake Safe.
Okay.
So shout out to Cake Safe. It's a delivery box specifically for cakes. They have like different shapes, different sizes. They're very expensive, but well worth it. So yeah, I had my friend drop me off at the train station, and I took the cake with me on the train. I, walked all over the city of New York with the with the cake. And I actually ordered a little like hand truck dolly kind of thing.
That wasn't part of it?
No, I was like, how am I gonna roll this cake through New York City all by myself with my luggage bag? So I was just like one day on Amazon, and I was like, I'm just gonna order like one of those little hand trucks, which was amazing. But yeah, it was awesome. So hopefully I can kind of like venture my way out that area, because it was nerve-wracking, but it was way easier than I thought it was going to be.
Taking the cake.
Taking a cake.
Well, you didn't go on the plane, right?
I took it on a train.
On the train.
I've thought about flying with the cake before, but because I've seen that people that have this like that box, they check the cake in, and it goes into the cargo part of the plane. So like people have traveled with the cake.
It, though.
Yeah, I would. I don't know, especially because like it's insulated, so your cake is fine, but still all the movement and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll see. Maybe
just
like my cake will just
test out.
Yeah.
Maybe when you're going to like Orlando again.
Yeah, somewhere. Or my sister lives in LA. I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna go see you, but I'm gonna take a cake just to try it out.
Yeah, to see how it goes.
So no, that was fun. But yeah, I specifically work here in the DMV area. So one day hopefully I'll venture out into other states, but that's like my main goal is to kind of start here and then see what happens. Because eventually I do want, like my dream one day is to move away from Maryland. I love it here, but I also want to explore other parts of, the U.S.
Yep.
So I have a few places in mind that I do want to maybe move to, and I've actually thought about how I would start my business out there, because it would be hard. I literally would have to start from square one.
Right.
So we'll see. But
What places are you thinking?
so I really want to, like, the two places are Florida and California.
Mm-hmm.
I would love, yeah. I would love to live in California one day. I talk about it with my fiance all the time. Like, that's one place I want to retire in. And then Florida, of course, like, it's Florida. Who doesn't want to live in Florida?
Yeah.
So I've thought about how I would venture out there, maybe like working part-time here and living over there. I don't know. It's definitely something I'm thinking about in the future. Not anytime soon, so nobody worry, I'm still here. But yeah, within like the next like 20 years or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When your kids are already out of the
definitely.
out of the house.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'd have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully by then, California's taxes can kind of
know, it's crazy.
go down. 'Cause,
Yeah.
they just eat you
It's
alive.
insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
So where are you from? Because I know the
Yeah.
Silva. I would say Spanish.
Yeah, well, so my parents are both from El Salvador. I was born here. But Silva is actually, well, my grandmother's family, they have a Portuguese background. So that's where our last name comes from. So it's funny because a lot of people that always reach out, they think that I'm Brazilian or Portuguese.
Oh, really?
And I've had customers talk to me in Portuguese, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying.
Because they see the last name.
Yeah, because you see the last name, because it's a very common Brazilian Portuguese last name. But yeah, both my parents are from El Salvador. I speak Spanish. I actually have a lot of customers that only speak Spanish, so I do work for, the Hispanic community in the area, which is awesome. The only thing is that a lot of Latinos, they just want like the tres leches or like your typical fruit cakes. I make tres leches, but you can't make a decorated tres leches cake because it's too moist. It'll fall apart. So I do lose business in that sense because everyone's like, oh, I want a tres leches. And I'm like, I can make you one, but it's not going to be a tiered. It can't. There's no
not that
way.
Mendy touch.
Yeah, it can't. There's no way. The cake is too moist. It'll just fall apart. I've tried it before. It was a disaster, so I'll never do it again. But it's fun. But yeah, so do work with, different parts of the community, which is amazing. I want to venture more into learning how to, because a lot of other Hispanic countries, they work with like different fillings and things like that. And I want to kind of test it out to kind of like include that into the menu. Like Dominican people, they use like specific fillings, and I've had other countries, other people have reached out and they're like, do you do this? Do you do that? I don't, but I definitely would want to test it out one day. So kind of just like to work with everyone.
Yeah. So continue like that because I think that's one of your strong points of your cakes that I've seen, and then many others, is that you get very creative.
Yeah.
You could do all these crazy designs. I think I saw one. What was it, like the Monsters Inc.?
Yeah.
So cool.
I know, I love that one.
And even for my son's birthday, because we used to as well.
The Godzilla.
The King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah.
So he was into that. That's when the movie came out, and it came out perfect.
Yeah. Thanks.
So
I'm always trying to try new things. That's like my thing. I love testing out new techniques. I love being pushed out of my comfort zone. That's like my biggest thing is people will reach out and they're like, can you do this? And I'll literally say, I've never done this, but doesn't mean that I can't. So, and I'd love to try it out. So
I think that's very good. Yeah, that's awesome. Just always have that open mind.
Yeah.
Because I know, like you said, the traditional Hispanics.
Yeah.
Because they always want that fruitcake.
They always want that fruitcake. Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't want your crazy design.
Exactly. Or they just want like the most simple filling on the inside, which is cool. But like the moist cakes, I can't do that. It just we can't. Like we just can't. So sorry, we can't.
It's like just go to Giant.
Exactly, or just go to Tienda Latina or like another Hispanic baker or whatever.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So your company name is the Silva Whisk. So how'd you get that name, and how'd you come up with the logo?
So it took me, I want to say about a year to finalize my name. I knew I always wanted to include Silva because Silva, silver, like a lot of utensils are silver that you use in the kitchen. So I was like, okay, well, my name is perfect because it's Silva. So I had a huge list. Like I still have the note in my phone from like years ago of like the names that I had listed. I know one of them was like the Silva spoon. It was just like a bunch of the Silva items. But the Silva spoon was taken. There's like a baker, I think, in Texas that had the name. So I was like, darn it. So yeah, I had to think of so I was like, what other utensils can I use? And I found that the Silva Whisk wasn't taken yet. So I was like, boom, that's my name. Mm-hmm. And it's clever. Like, you know, a whisk is silver. And so it's the Silva Whisk. So it's pretty cool. And then for my logo, that's hard. Like anybody that starts a business, getting like a logo that you want, it's probably the hardest part of it is the hardest part of your branding. I've gone through so many logos. My friends make fun of me. They're like, stop stitching your logos. But I just don't think I've gotten to the one that I like yet, which takes time. I mean, it doesn't mean that I have to pick a logo right now. Like people rebrand, companies rebrand all the time. So I've worked with freelance designers and graphic designers to kind of create something. I've reached out to people in different countries to have something made. Right now, I like the logo how it is, but I kind of want to like oomph it up a little bit. So we'll see how that comes. So I do plan on rebranding in a few years. But yeah, it's
not the name, just the logo.
Not the name. Yeah, the name's not going to change. Just the logo. Yeah, because it's so hard to pick a logo.
It is. We probably went through.
So hard.
We went through a whole rebranding as well, and we probably went. This poor guy, but we probably went through like 50 designs. So.
It's hard. Like it's really the colors, the design, I mean, it's just
because you're trying to make something new, something like hasn't been done before.
Exactly.
There's already been a lot done already.
Exactly.
So you constantly have to like think about, you know, is it gonna fit my brand, the colors, the schemes?
Are you gonna stand out? Things like that. So it's not easy, but yeah, it's just always a process. It's always gonna happen. So it's
baby steps, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you kind of give me your the background, because I believe you worked before the Silva Whisk, you worked in a corporate job.
Yeah, so correct? Technically during. So I have
and what year was this? Just give me some time frame.
So I started the Silva Whisk as a hobby. I started back in 2016. Okay. So my oldest was 1 when I started. It kind of started as a hobby, and then just to kind of get my, you know, how a lot of people like write to get their feelings out and things like that. Like when they're going through hard times, I would bake. That was my thing. So I started that, but I was working at the same time. I always worked in the property management construction industry. I did that for like 10 years. So I was an executive assistant. So I literally did that from when I was already doing that when I started the Silva Whisk. Up until this past August, I was, you know, working in...
Recently, August 2021?
Yeah, I just quit my job, corporate job. I had a full-time job basically while I was doing the Silva Whisk. The Silva Whisk was kind of like my weekend thing, or literally as soon as I'd get home, get the kids settled down, I would work. Yeah, so it's crazy my life, how it was before I quit my corporate job to how it is now. So it's gotten easier, way easier now that like I am my own boss basically. But it was hard working in a full-time job and starting my own thing at the same time. And
so what's an example when you say like your life is much easier now?
So basically, you know, I'd go to work, I'd get home, I'd feed the kids, or at the time I just had Gabe, my oldest. You know, I couldn't hang out with him as much. I was sacrificing losing time hanging out with him because I was trying to start my business. Yeah. And that's the hardest part as a parent. Like
because your business is kind of like another baby.
Exactly. And so it was definitely hard. And so I'd get home, I'd lose time from hanging out with him. This is at the time my mom would help me with him. She would take him to the park for me. I would be baking at night. I would be making icing. I would do all of my cake planning at night. I would be going to bed till at 2, 3 in the morning. Wow. Just to get back up at like 6, 7 in the morning to get ready for work, take him to school. So it was hard. And so then I kept doing that for a few years. Now that my fiance and I have another baby, it was still doing the same thing, you know, losing time from hanging out with the family. It was just hard. It was really bad. And so, but I mean, a lot of people go through this. We have to sacrifice, you know, our family sometimes to start with what we want. But at the end of the day, you're doing this for your family, and you're doing this for you to start something. So I would go to, I would get upset because, in a relationship, it's hard because your partner is asking for more time from you, and I can't give you that because I have this.
So you have to like, kind of compromise.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's really hard. So, I literally went to him one day and I was like, babe, I think I'm going to quit my job. And he was super supportive because he actually would help me like behind the scenes. A lot of deliveries that we have, it's him that delivers for me or his parents. I have like my little delivery team. Yeah. So I literally it was actually during COVID. I just, it was August 2021. We had just gotten COVID. So we were all sick. I was having issues with the company that I was working in with stuff going on. Sure. And I kind of got fed up with it. And I told Jeff, I said, I think I'm just going to quit my job. I think I'll be fine. I know I'll be fine. We'll be having to sacrifice some things or whatever, but it'll be fine. So I literally put in my 2 weeks like the next day.
Wow.
And I had no plan. I had no idea what I was going to do. But good thing is I'm thankful for all of like the returning customers that I have and all of the clients and, the people that order cakes for me. I have people that order cakes literally every month. Like they literally just, hey, I need this, or this is just for fun. We're doing something small. I need a cake. So, it is those people that have gotten me to this point that I can do this on my own now because I have all those repeat customers and they, spread the word. So I do have a good client-based group, I guess, that I'm comfortable with where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
But it was scary. It was very scary quitting my job and being like, shoot, this is going to be my job, like this is my only job. This is it. Yeah. So it's been great.
Just for a second. So you've already given a lot. Yeah. So you started Silva Whisk 2016.
Yeah.
And you were literally, it wasn't until a moment, because you did it pretty much 2016 through what? Last year, so it was like 5 years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until an ultimatum almost came about because of the pandemic. And it's funny because my wife actually went through something similar when she was at a paralegal job, where I don't know what about COVID and working remotely or the whole pandemic, but it kind of brought the bad out of some people.
Yep.
Or it's kind of exposed jobs in the sense of like, this company really sucks and it's not worth it.
They don't see you as a person. They just see you as like a robot. Like, you're going to do this because I said so. And no, like.
That's not how it is.
It's kind of, COVID did have its good things where, companies are realizing like, oh, I can trust my employees to work from home. I don't have to spend money on rent on a building. We can do this from home or, things like that. But then it also made people more like micromanaging kind of thing. So that's where, I've seen so many people start their new businesses because of COVID, which was awesome. But yeah, everyone was kind of going through the same thing where people were just being treated horribly, and it's not an excuse. Like, like you have to take in consideration the kind of people that you have and be there for them and support them. And I didn't have that. And a lot of people don't have that. So I was like, screw this. I'm going to do what I want to do. And yeah, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it. And so.
And I feel like the people like who do micromanage when we were in a remote environment were already not good bosses to begin with.
Yeah.
When you're in the office.
Yeah.
So at that point, when you, in August of 2021, when you quit, you had no plan. Would you change that moment?
Not
if you
at
can
all.
Go back in time?
Not at all.
Maybe like wait a little bit longer, or you should have quit earlier?
I should have done it
maybe
way
had
earlier.
A plan? Okay.
Yeah, I should have done this when I was pregnant with my little one. I probably should have done this then.
5 years ago?
No, my youngest, he'll be 2.
Child.
So I should have done this probably a year before I actually did it, because I was good at that point. But in a sense, no, maybe not. I think going back, I think it was perfect timing only because we didn't know what we were going to get into because of COVID. And I did take a hit, people stopped ordering. For like a month or two, I had slowed down big time.
I think everybody for a month or 2 years.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden, people were throwing their own parties, and I'm like, you guys are supposed to be quarantined. You're like, what the heck are you doing? But hey, you want to get cool. Yeah. So many people were throwing these parties in their homes. Obviously, they couldn't rent out a space.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you guys are throwing parties?
Not a party. We kept it minimum for my
No,
sons, but
people were throwing actual parties. Like I still had weddings for like 150 in a house.
Whoa.
People were still doing
wild.
whatever they wanted to do, which is whatever you want to do. Like, hey, I'm doing your cake, cool. Like,
Yeah.
thank you. But I did take a hit for like a month or two, and then all of a sudden it just picked up drastically. I was literally working nonstop. I was like, how am I this busy when we're in a freaking pandemic right now? But it was amazing, like, you know, and I do give thanks to COVID because of that, because it did bring me a lot more business than it ever had, which is crazy to me to even say that. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
But I guess people were just realizing life is too short. We're just going to do whatever we want.
Life is short, eat cake.
Yeah, eat
That
cake,
should be
throw
a motto.
parties. Yeah, like it's just crazy how much business I had in COVID, like during the pandemic. And then when this new variant hit, the Omarion, it did slow down big time. Like from December to, I want to say like mid-February this past month, I barely had any orders. It was hard because I was like, shoot, you know, is it slowing down again? But all of a sudden, I'm picking up all over again. So, I mean, that's in a business though. You have your times where, you know, things are slow and then it just picks up. So I'm used to that now. But yeah, COVID just, it opened my mind. I was like, what the heck? Like, how?
Yeah, that's
is this?
insane how your sales. So before, I guess the pandemic, how were your sales? Like how much? Like can you give a
was
perspective
pretty-
of like how many cakes you were selling like a month before and then after?
So I want to say that I had on average, so per weekend, I had on average, let's say like 7-8 cakes a weekend.
Okay.
During
Before.
COVID, before COVID,
That's pretty
yeah.
good.
And now, well, not now, but like, let's say mid-COVID, so like beginning of last year, 2021, I was probably averaging about like 10 to 12 orders a weekend.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, it jumped from like
Almost
4 to,
double.
yeah, I mean, it was crazy. So, and then, you know, I did take a big hit last year with weddings, because weddings was, there were barely any weddings last year. But this year I've already booked 8 weddings for the rest of the year. And these are, I'm talking like huge wedding cakes. So it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I want to say that I'm averaging about like 12 orders a weekend. And to people, like, it's a lot. But to me, like, that's a perfect balance for me, which is crazy.
Right now, full time.
Yeah. So I've done like 16, 17 cakes in one weekend, which is crazy. But
How much time does it take you to do one cake? Can you give perspective?
so in an hour to do like a basic cake, like just like a regular happy birthday cake, I want to say from like the baking to the cooling to the prepping, maybe like 6 to 8 hours.
So a whole day.
Oh yeah.
A whole
Because
day.
so I have like my schedule, like
So
Monday.
How would you do 16 in 1 week? So you're
Yeah, I
doing.
don't know. And this is when I was working in a full-time job.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I would go to bed late. Like, I'd be tired all of the, I mean, I'm still tired. But I would be tired, like more tired than I am now. Because now I'm like,
Do you drink
now,
coffee? Are you a coffee drinker?
yeah,
Okay.
huge. But it's crazy because since I had COVID in August, I still can't taste and smell.
Wow.
Like-
So how are you tasting your cakes? How do you know if it's tastes
My family
good?
tastes for me.
Really?
My oldest, my almost 7-year-old is tasting cakes for me, the fillings and things like that. Because I know, I can tell that something is sweet, salty, and tart, like acidic. But I can't tell. Like right now I'm drinking kombucha. I can't taste the flavor.
You can't taste the flavor?
No,
It's
it's weird.
delicious.
Like I can taste that it's like sparkly because I love kombucha, but I can't taste the actual flavors of it. Like everything I
So
smell.
still like 7 months later.
Yeah, 7 months, exactly.
You're
It's
still-
literally 7 months on the 4th of
Wow.
March. Yeah. So, like, what I smell isn't what you smell. Like, you know, when my friend, she actually helps me organize my cake stuff once a week. She comes over when I'm baking. She's like, oh my God, it smells so good in here. I can't, like, she's smelling the cakes that are in the oven. I'm smelling this, like, weird.
You haven't had any issues making cakes?
No, I mean,
this?
thank God, no. But it's been hard because of that. Like, it's been so annoying.
That's crazy.
I've been crossing my fingers.
Have you gone to the doctor
kind
to
of,
check it out?
yeah, I've gone to the ENT like 3 times.
What'd they say?
It's just gonna happen. I mean, it's just gonna come back on its own. There's
On its
nothing I
own.
can do. Yeah. So they did say it could take up to a year. So I'm hoping that before the wedding I can taste and smell, because I don't
You
want to be
taste
at
your
my
own
wedding
wedding.
and I can't eat my food. So it's kind of
At least
annoying.
you can still get drunk though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, no, because alcohol tastes very disgusting to me, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's horrible because I love
I
drinking.
mean, alcohol already tastes bad, but.
I know, but it's like a weird, like it's like
That's like
bitter. It's so weird. But No, so I have my family tasting everything for me, and like funny story, my 6-year-old, I had a key lime. So I had an order for a friend of mine. She ordered a cake, and the filling was key lime pie filling.
Okay.
So I didn't know if it had enough lime juice. I didn't know if I needed to add anything to it. I didn't know if I needed to add more sugar. My 6-year-old doesn't know what key lime pie filling is. My in-laws weren't home. Jeff wasn't home. So I'm like, how am I going to, like, she's on her way here to pick up the order. So I clicked it. I was like, Gabe, what do you think? Like, does this taste good? And he's like, yeah, it tastes good. But he doesn't know, like.
Does he ever say it tastes bad?
No. No. But, I mean, I don't think anything I make tastes bad either. Like, I'm pretty confident in myself. But, yeah, like, he was like, I think it tastes good. He's like, yeah, it's good. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to give it to her. So I texted her.
Yeah. Use a stamp. Approved by 6-year-old.
I texted her, and I was like, I'm so sorry if it's not, like, limey enough. But, you know, I can't. She already knew that I couldn't taste and smell. So she was like, no, it's actually perfect. Like, it was great. Awesome. So I was like, oh, thank God, you know. But it's messing with my business. It's messing not with my business. It's messing with myself, you know, because I'm frustrated that I can't taste and smell anything. But I've noticed it's kind of coming back. I don't want to jinx myself.
Okay.
So we'll see within the next like 5 months if it's completely back. And I'm sure like other people have been going through the same thing, which is, I mean, it's frustrating, but COVID. I mean, we didn't know this was going to happen. So
for that to happen to a baker. And for you to continue
and I feel like it's happening to me on purpose. Like, I'm like, of course it would happen to me. Like, this is what I do for a living. And it's so annoying. It's so frustrating. Because my whole family had it, and they never lost their taste and smell. But, of course, the one who cooks
you
for a living.
So you couldn't pass it on to your fiancé.
Yeah, I'm like, damn it, why didn't he get that? But, of course, I'm the one that cooks for a living, bakes for a living, and I'm the one that got affected more.
Well, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I keep thinking about is everything happens for a reason. I'm going to be fine. It's going to get better. So just like be positive about it.
So we actually rescheduled the second episode like 4 times.
Yeah.
And it's because I think one of the moments was like your wedding was canceled.
Yeah, so our wedding was canceled because of COVID. So our wedding plan A basically was canceled. We were going to do a cruise wedding in October this year. It was canceled a few months ago because of COVID. Cruise lines are back to canceling their trips or whatever. So yeah, the day before I was going to come and meet you the first time, that's when they told us, you know, we have to give you guys our money back, blah, blah, blah. So I literally was, you know, taking that week to kind of figure something out. Thank goodness we found a new location within like, I don't know, 48, 72 hours. We locked something down. I flew down to Cancun that following weekend to go check out the place with my 2 best friends. So it worked out. So we are still having our wedding, still during the same date, but we're actually now going to Mexico. So we're flying there instead of taking a cruise to wherever we were going to go to the Bahamas. So it's still a destination wedding. So it's, again, everything happens for a reason. And I'm even more excited because it's going to be on the beach. So,
wow. Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
Exactly. So everyone's booking their rooms right now. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's messed with everything. But
you just got to, I mean, things are going to happen, especially in your business, like constantly. And like, you're always going to have peaks and valleys throughout life.
Yeah.
And if you want to touch on, for the Silva Whisk specifically, like can you tell a story of like a moment where things didn't go according to plan? Like you had maybe a dissatisfied customer, or like how did you manage that? How'd you deal with it?
So, I mean, it happens. It doesn't happen a lot, which is good because it just, you know, it makes me happy that it doesn't happen a lot. But, you know, I have had just a few, actually 2 incidents. Is one of them, a customer ordered a cake for her daughter. She gave me all of the ideas that she wanted. She gave me the colors. She said, this is what I want. You can freestyle, but these are the colors that I'm asking for you to use, and that's it. So I said, okay. So I freestyled something. I thought it looked amazing. Her husband picked it up. He was super excited. He was like, wow, this is so cool. I helped him put it in his car. He went off to the party. This was on a Saturday morning. Come Thursday, so from Saturday to Thursday, which is 5 days?
Yeah, 5 days later.
So she texted me like on a Thursday morning, basically this like long paragraph that, you know, thank you for the cake. It tasted good, but it's not what I wanted. It's not what I envisioned, this, and that. And I was just like, what? So I go back to the original text that we had, the text that we had gone through back and forth. And I was like, what did you, because basically she said she didn't like the design. She liked the way that it tasted. It tasted amazing, she said, but it's just, she thought it was ugly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
Just straight up.
Yeah.
So I went through the text. I included all the colors that she asked for. I included the little baby dinosaurs that she wanted for a little girl. Included her name. I did everything that you asked me for. But when you ask for a freestyle cake, you're basically having me come up with the design.
And it's not like out of the blue because people can see your previous designs.
Exactly.
Right?
And most of my cakes are freestyled cakes. Like they just, you, for example, you've ordered from me. You're like, hey, this is what I want. Okay, cool. And I just come up with something. Yeah. But that's how it normally is. I do get occasionally the customers that are like, this is what I like, or I do get the customers where they're like, can you do a sketch for me? I suck at drawing, but I will do it. I'll do it. I'll do something. I'll do like chicken scratch. And I'll put like wording. This is what this is. Like, this is what I'm trying to draw over here. But I'll do that. But this lady she just wasn't satisfied. So I literally just read the text and I looked at my phone and I said, I'm not even going to reply. I'm just not even going to reply because I know that in my heart I did everything that you asked for. I was happy with the cake. Her husband was happy with the cake. So it's obviously some other personal issue that she has going on. And you texted me 5 days later.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Why would you do it that same day?
Well, not even the same day
after.
or the day after or on Monday, after the weekend, after things have settled down. But you're going to wait till Thursday? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I just didn't even reply back. But
so your response was really like kind of just brush it off and just keep moving.
Exactly, because I can't worry about that. Like, why am I going to get all built up and upset and I already have anxiety. I'm not going to make my anxiety worse, because I couldn't make you happy. And in this industry, I can't please everybody, There's going to be people that don't like the work. I'm sorry, I did what you asked me for. Every single time I do a freestyled cake, at the end when I'm done, I always make sure to go through the messages, the emails, the texts, the notes that I've written down to make sure that everything that they asked for is on the cake. Because I always write down, so I'm like an old school person. I like to keep my notes in my phone, but then I also like to write them out. Just so it's just a better way for me to like understand, like, back in school, like we'd take notes, but then we'd like redo them just to kind of like study or whatever. So that's kind of that's how I work. So I always make sure to go through all of my notes and my emails, text messages to make sure that everything that they asked for is on the cake. But then I also ask what is something that you don't want to see, because I don't want to add something to a cake and you didn't want that there. Or a color of a flower and you hate that flower, something like that. So for florals, like, what are your favorite flowers? Like, do you mind me adding roses? Do you whatever? But yeah, everything I did for her, she asked for. I thought it was perfect. I asked my friends for their opinions. They were like, and it's funny because I texted my friends.
They'll be biased.
Yeah, of course. But I didn't tell them what had happened. I just said, what do you guys think of this cake? And then they were like, oh, it's awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then I told them the story and they were like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Also 5 days later. But I just can't.
Have you had any other scenarios like that?
Yeah, so I just had... a few weeks ago, I want to say about like 3-4 weeks ago, I had, but the thing is, you are in this industry, and I'm sure other industries as well, you already know the feeling, you get a feeling of people's personalities and stuff, but you can kind of tell the person that you're going to work with when you're just getting to know them. Yeah. So like, I already know that this person's going to give me some trouble, or this person's gonna be kind of like.
Is that part of your process to kind of vet them out? So like,
time.
you start off with a phone call, or
just texting, or we just email, Instagram, whatever. If they want to call me, they can call me. But you can kind of get an idea of when you're gonna have a difficult customer. Like you just know.
It's in every industry.
And I think it's also because, having a customer service background too. I mean, this is customer service. Yeah. Like, this is what I do. So I kind of...
On many other hats, yeah.
Yeah, this is kind... Like, I know when I'm going to have a difficult customer. I know when, at the end of the day, after they get their product, they may come back and say something. I just know. It's just like a feeling I just know. Like, I can just tell by people's tone of voice when I'm talking to them, or their emails.
The vibes,
I just pick up on the vibes, yeah. So this one lady, I could just tell she was going to be a difficult customer when she was emailing me back and forth. She was picky with the pricing, picky with the flavors, and I'm just like, okay, here goes another one. So whatever, I was just cool with her. You don't have to go through
the whole story,
but no. So she basically ordered these cupcakes, and then probably like 2 weeks later, texted me that she was unhappy with the size of the cupcakes and the look of the cupcakes. What? Like, a cupcake is a cupcake. It's not a muffin, you know, like it's one size.
It's not a muffin.
I wasn't going to text her that obviously.
So funny.
But seriously, it's not a muffin, like it's a cupcake. But, you know, I told her, I said, look, I appreciate you letting me know that you were unhappy. You know, it's good for my, you know, for feedback, whatever. I can take constructive criticism very well. But that's, I mean, I'm not going to do much for that.
And you're lucky to have that, because before the Silva, or I guess during, like you had that customer service background.
Yeah.
For those that don't, like,
it's hard.
How would you, like, because most people I can tell that I've spoken to that, you know, are just starting out with their own small business, whether it's, you know, food catering or selling a product, a service, like they get those calls, those emails, those texts, and they freak out.
Oh, they
feel
up.
rejected. They're devastated.
Yeah.
And
people will literally go out of business because of, you know, tough comments or reviews and things like that, because they don't want to deal with it.
It affects your other work and your other customers.
Yeah. You just have to have tough skin. Like, that's what I try to tell a lot of, like, baker friends that I have. Like, you just have to have tough skin. You're going to get people that do not like your product. There's nothing you can do about it, you know? You have 100 people that are ordering from you, and you get those 5 that hate your work.
Right.
Those other 95 people are still going to come back to you. So it shouldn't affect your personality, the way that you think, your emotions. It's funny because outside of the Silva Whisk, I'm a very emotional person. Like, my fiance would tell you, like, I'm very emotional. But when it comes to this, I don't let this affect my emotions, because this is a business I'm running. I can't please everybody. I'm not going to please everybody. And it's just something that I've just always, like, trained and have in the back of my mind, that this is just part of, you know, owning a business. It's just like when you go to another business and
even working for someone,
or if you're working for someone, exactly. Yeah. So it's hard, like, you know, it's hard to not get worked up about it, because it does kind of like stab you in the heart a little bit, like, ugh, you know, but you can't let it affect the next order that you have after that.
Like, other than the advice of just tough it up.
Yeah.
Like, what other pieces of advice, like, kind of, it's like, do you put yourself in a mental state, like, to breathe or just not think about it? Or, like, how can you encourage people, like, let's say a baker friend of yours receives something like that, and they're absolutely just devastated.
Yeah.
Other than, like, toughen up.
Yeah.
Like, what other key piece of advice would you, like, give them?
Well, definitely, I mean, look at how far you've come. You know, for me, for example, like, it's a reflection, yeah. And you just have to think too, like, okay, they didn't like it, but what did they not like about that? And what is something that you could potentially change in a next cake order, a next cupcake order, or whatever. You know, just things like that. Just be open-minded that this stuff is going to happen. There's nothing that you can do about it. It's out of your control. And you have the option of making things better for them, or making things better for the next customer, or just, you know, kind of taking that and working on yourself, not getting too upset about it. But yeah, when things like that do happen to me, I've just gotten to the point where I just ignore it. Like, you know, if it's something that the customer really, really hated and they were very upset about it, or, you know, something, or maybe I did mess up on something and they were expecting something else, and that was my bad. I'll own up to it, you know, I'll do something else for you, whatever. But when it's stuff that's literally out of your control, you just can't let that upset you. You can't let your anxiety go crazy. You can't get paranoid, because then you get paranoid about the next order. Like, oh my God, what if they don't like this order? You know, and then that's going to start messing with your work. Yeah. So, and that's one thing I realized when I first started this, is that I would get so worked up about it that I would start slacking on the future work. Yeah. So
so reflection, staying positive.
Yeah, very positive.
Just stay with the momentum. Is what I got from it. Because And that what you said is very applicable to every industry, even my own tax firm. Like like you're going to deal with these types of clients. You have to learn to manage it. So it's not a matter of if it happens; it's a matter of when it happens.
And what are you going to do? Yeah.
So what's the procedures there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So talked about your transition. You talked about Silva Whisk. You've been doing this for several years.
Yeah.
And
6
just
years.
recently, you've exploded.
Yeah.
Like throughout the years, like year 1, you started off as a hobby. Year 2, like you're still kind of building up. Was there ever a moment where you were like, I'm just gonna dish this, or was it more of just like something fun to do on the side? At what point did you see this, like, holy shit, like this could be an actual business?
I think it really hit me when, well, of course I got, I would go through the times where I would be like, F this, I don't want to do this anymore, especially because supplies are so expensive and they're only even more expensive right now.
Yeah, everything's going up,
Yeah, so
included.
It was hard, like, because I want to say for the first, like, 2-3 years, I literally was not making any profit at all, like, at all. I was coming out of pocket. I was pitching into my bank from my actual corporate job to buy supplies and things like that because I was trying to build up my supplies, I feel like I'm still kind of going through that, but it definitely was the first, like, 2 to 3 years of just buying and spending and buying and spending because it is a lot of stuff that you need, like cake decorating supplies. There's a huge like realm of items that you need, and it's expensive. But after that 2-3 year mark, I was like, all right, this is getting better. I can do this. But no, it was. I did get to that point though where I was like, all right, screw this, I'm done. Like this is it, I'm done. But I'm glad that I didn't give up because of where I'm at right now.
Did that period last like a week or a month or several months of hiatus?
I want to say like I probably stopped for like, maybe I would take like one order a weekend or something, but I did stop for, I want to say like 3-4 months that I did slow down. This was like 2018-ish. And then it's crazy because the following year I did my first celebrity order. I had a cake for one of the NBA players of the Wizards.
What was his name?
Bradley Beal. Yeah.
Was it Beal?
Yeah.
Bradley Beal?
So,
did you get to meet him?
So it's funny because I did his son's first, their first son's baby shower cake.
Okay.
So shout out to the Beal family because I still work with them. So fast forward from their son's baby shower, their oldest son, and I'm still doing orders for them. Wow. And they're amazing. They're an amazing family. Like, I love working with them. They've, hooked me up with another basketball family or Wizards family. I've done orders now for a Capitals player. I've done an order for a Baltimore Ravens player.
That's awesome.
So I'm glad that I didn't give up because, I'm at the position where I never thought I would be, and it's only going up from here. Like, that's kind of like the mentality that I have is I'm over here, like, I literally, like, manifest things every day that this is not just it. Like, it's going to go somewhere, Even if I don't have my own shop and I do this from home for the rest of my life, like, that's fine with me because I'm doing what I want to do and I'm good at what I do. But, yeah, like, it was hard. But I going back to 2017, 2018, and seeing my life now, I would have never thought that this was going to happen. Like, I would have never thought that I would be doing cakes full time.
Like, when you were in that 3-4 month kind of gap, or you? It sounds like you were still doing it, just not. You weren't. That wasn't your
serious.
Focus.
Yeah.
So, what made you come out of that, like, moment of that hiatus to be like, okay, let's get started. Let's start, marketing again. Let's start, what made you come out of that to kind of just keep it going?
I think that's kind of when Instagram started booming more too. And just seeing and meeting or getting to meet other bakers online and like seeing new cakes and new designs is kind of how I started again. I was like, ooh, I'm going to try these. Yeah. It was a lot of like inspiration from Instagram. I was like, I want to try these different designs. I want to try these techniques. I want to get into wedding cakes. So that's really how it started. It was my best friend's wedding, so I did her wedding cake, and that was I think that was the biggest cake that I had done at that point. And that's kind of I mean, that's how it all just started. I was like, all right, I'm just going to get back into it and just test out new things and new flavors and new designs, and look at where I'm at now.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely killing it. And I can see
Thanks.
Silva Whisk just continuing to grow.
Yeah.
One thing to note is that you are the talent. Silva Whisk is you, right?
Yeah.
You are the Silva Whisk. One thing too, as far as growth, and because right now you've built a great foundation, you have a great client base, your marketing's killing it, your Instagram's amazing because of all of your designs. To grow, to see the company growing, at one point, do you think of hiring additional help to make to help make cakes?
I thought about that. I've definitely thought about hiring like an assistant, at least to do all of my emails and my messages, because that is so hard, like doing the admin part.
It's the bulk of your time.
I have thought about hiring an admin person, so if anybody has an admin background, please reach out to me.
With customer service? Maybe?
Yeah, with customer service, definitely. I don't need somebody to be rude to my customers, but no, I definitely am. If you know of any people, please let me know, because I need help in the admin world, or the admin field of it, which is crazy because that's my background, but I can't do it all. Like, I need help with, getting emails replied back, because I have had the occasional, not occasional, but I have had scenarios where I'll respond to a customer too late. I'm a few days late and they've already booked somebody, and I can't get upset about that. That's my fault. I'm sorry I didn't get to you on time. But I don't have, I literally have no time, you know?
Your time is stretched. That's what I'm saying.
Very,
Mendy only has 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
If you get someone else to help you. So it sounds like you are in need.
I am in need of an admin, like an admin assistant.
Kind of starting the search? Or?
Yeah, I've kind of posted it on my stories maybe like a year ago. But this is when I was working full time, or at with my corporate job. So I wasn't too serious about it. But now the past 2 weeks I've been thinking, because you and I had just met and we didn't even discuss this, because I just started thinking about this. I was like, darn, I really need to hire an admin assistant just for a few hours a day, or maybe every other day, just to make sure that my Instagram messages are being replied to, my Facebook messages are being replied to, my emails, texting, I can do that because it's on my phone, but it's mainly the admin part, because I have lost a few customers or potential customers because I haven't gotten back to them in time, and I can't get upset about that. I just kick myself in the butt for that, because I'm like, oh man, why didn't I look at that?
Yeah.
But I don't have time, I'm over here.
That's how companies grow, is you build a team.
Exactly.
So,
but nothing for the baking world. I do that all on my own. I do have a friend of mine that she sometimes makes icing for me. She'll come over and she'll just make 4 big batches of icing. So that's very helpful, because it has me focus more on the decorating part. But now that I'm doing this full time, I have more time for that. I just need something for the admin world, the admin aspect of the company.
Got it. So that's one component you need. So because as an entrepreneur, as you are now, you're wearing multiple hats. Now you said admin, you're the customer service rep, you're the manager, you're the talent, you're servicing the clients, you have other people making deliveries, but you're constantly doing, and on top of everything else, you're a mom of 2, you're a fiance? Yeah. I was gonna say wife, but you're also a daughter. Yeah. So there's a lot of your time is constantly being pulled in different directions, especially as being an entrepreneur, because when you were at a corporate job, I would imagine you work 40 to 50 hours. Yeah. What are you working now as far as what's your work-life balance?
Oh, it's still the same. It's probably more. I saw a TikTok video of, it was something about, I quit my job to be an entrepreneur, basically to have more time. You don't have more time. If anything, you're working longer and double, which is cool, because it's what you want to do.
Because it's what you want to do, yeah.
You're not working for anybody else. You're working for yourself. So if I'm going to bed at 1 a.m. because I'm working on a cake, or I'm looking at videos, that's fine for me, because I can wake up at 9 in the morning, 9, 10 in the morning, and I can sleep in on the weekends. But no, it's very different when it comes to that. But, and like you said, I have a bunch of hats. I'm a mom, I'm a fiance, I'm actually trying to start working on myself, going to the gym, things like that. Yeah, I'm training for half marathon right now. So it's a lot, and I can't do this all, but it's good though that I do this full time now that I have, and full time. So now that I have time to do those things, like after we're done with this, I'm gonna go to the gym. I would have never been able to do that. You know, I wouldn't even be able to come here and talk with you on a weekday because I would have been at work. Yeah. So like, for example, yesterday, Jeff is my fiance is also an entrepreneur. He texted me. He's like, "Hey, want to go on a walk?" I was like, "Wow!" Like 7 months ago, 8 months ago, we would have never. He would have been at work, because he used to do outside maintenance. He would have been at work, outside. I would have been in an office. We would have never been able to go on a walk at 1 p.m. You know, like it's cool that you are your own boss, and I hope that it also motivates people seeing what I do to do what they want to do and just step out of your comfort zone and just do it. I mean. There's a lot of things that you can do out in this world.
Like we're talking about all the things that, you know, an entrepreneur does and how busy we are and but there's a lot of pros to it. There's a lot of positivity to it. Of course. There's a lot of, like you said, there's flexibility for the moments that you choose the time that you want to do versus someone else telling you what to do.
You're your own boss. Yeah. And it's a great feeling. Like it's an amazing, amazing feeling, you know, when somebody asks, "What do you do?" "I own a business." You know, that's huge. Like I would have never imagined that 10 years ago, you know, like what? I'm my own boss? Like, that's crazy. Yeah.
So you just imagine yourself 10 years ago. Where do you see yourself 10 years from today? Like, what are your goals for the Silva Whisk right now?
Definitely, I want to get more into branding. So I want to have my own maybe supply line. I want to sell supplies with my name on them, like a spatula
like
or
the whisk.
The whisk, a whisk or a spatula, a cake scraper, whatever. I want to get more into that. I want to get more into the wedding world, so I want to do more wedding cakes. The only thing that I've noticed is people think that wedding cakes or they don't realize how expensive wedding cakes are, and they don't realize how much effort and time we put into them, that they just want a wedding cake for a few $100. Like, that's not possible. So I'm going through that right now where I do have, you know, couples that are like, "Oh, this is too expensive," and I'm kind of like doubting myself, like, am I being too expensive? But then I'm like, no, it's crazy expensive right now to just live, you know. So it's like, no, but I do want to get more into the wedding world. I'd love to get more into like the sports industry.
I think you did a wedding expo, right?
Yeah, I did a wedding expo back in November, so that actually gave me a few future clients that I'm going to be working with this year. And then there is another wedding expo at some point this year that I'm going to be doing again for for next year's weddings, because I actually think that next year is going to be busier with weddings than this year. Yeah. So I'm crossing my fingers that that's true. But I definitely want to get more into the wedding world. I also want to get more into like the social media. I want to do more lives. I want to do more like YouTube videos. I want to do more tutorial stuff, things like that. Like, I'm a big people person. I love, you know, helping whoever I can out. So I would love to do like how-to videos. So kind of building like a YouTube platform. That's like one of like my things. I've thought about it. I haven't sat down to see like how I'm going to do it, but that's definitely yeah, exactly.
Maybe once you get the admin assistant.
Yeah, but that's definitely something I want to get done within like the next 10 years. And I'm sure by that point there'll be like another platform out there or something. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I think another thing that you mentioned, if I remember correctly, was that you always envision your own delivery van with like Silva Whisk right on the side.
That's another thing too, is I definitely do want to have like my little delivery van with my logo, sprinkles on them or something. Whether it's my in-laws driving it around or Jeff driving it around or myself, but definitely something where, you know, I can use to promote my business and for branding and marketing and have my own. Because I've thought about putting my company name on my car, which it's actually one thing I am thinking about doing. Like, why not?
Yeah, why not?
But I definitely do want to own like a van one day, you know, where I could do multiple deliveries at one time, and it's insulated and I don't have to worry about the cakes messing up inside and things like that. So that is another goal that I have. To have my own little truck.
No, it's good to have goals. It's really good.
Oh, yeah,
it's
big time.
Very important. Yeah. Just to keep the vision, right? It's all about the vision.
Yep.
And sticking to it. And
you just
can't
give
whatever
up.
comes out of it, comes out of it. So I have a fun question for you.
Yeah.
So you're a baker, of course.
No, I'm not a baker. I'm a mom.
What is your favorite dessert to eat?
Okay, so it's funny because I get this all the time. People ask me this all the time. I don't like cake. I don't eat cake.
Is it because you've already made it so much?
I was never a cake person even to begin with. I just don't care for cake. And so I'm more of like a pastries. Like I love fruit tarts. I'm more into French pastries. So like I love croissants. I love fruit tarts. I love things like that. But I don't care for cake. But yeah, and also like anything with chocolate. I'm a big chocoholic. That's my thing.
What about chocolate cake?
Yeah. No, not really. Unless it's like one of those like warm like lava chocolate cakes with like ice cream. Yeah, something like that. Like I'll eat that. But I won't go, like if I go to a party, you will not see me eat a piece of cake. I've gone to parties with my own cake being, presented. I'm not going to touch it. Like I just don't care to eat it.
It's probably your subconscious at this point. Like,
well, it's like when you cook.
Good.
Like a lot of cooks too, a lot of chefs.
Like they don't cook at home.
They don't cook at home, or if they do cook at home, they're cooking for others. They don't care to eat their work because also you're trying it as you're going, so you're kind of like fed up about it or with it.
Because it is your job.
Yeah, I absolutely hate icing. Like you will not see me ever eat icing. I hate icing. I'll try it at home because I have to, but yeah, icing is no, nothing. Like gross.
So French pastries.
French pastry. Well, that's like my favorite, but any kind of pastries, that's like my thing, But yeah, I don't care for cake at all. And everyone asks me.
The irony.
Yeah, I always have cake scraps left over. I have cupcakes sometimes, and I'll just throw them away. I just don't care for that.
I can see you're saying that, but I can see the years of torment of cakes have just built up on you.
I'm like, now I'm done.
Yeah, you're caked out.
Yeah.
I can tell. No, but your designs are, and the cake still tastes delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah, kudos for that.
Thanks.
So we're gonna wrap up this podcast with saying if you can give like 3 key pieces of advice to either someone in the bacon industry, similar to you, or it could be an entrepreneur in general. Like what 3 things you would say, like from what you've experienced so far, that you have to like, be on top of.
Definitely, don't give up. But that's like everything. But seriously, don't give up.
That's a good one,
like don't let other people discourage you. Don't let, honestly, like a lot of family and friends aren't going to be as supportive as you thought that they were going to be. I've realized that the hardest.
What do you mean by that? As an example.
So basically, for me, for example, like I do have a lot of family and friends that don't order from me. They support me, but they don't order from me, whether they are expecting it for free or discounts or something. But it's kind of, that's one thing that I learned in the beginning is
don't expect your friends and family to.
Don't expect
anything.
Don't expect anything. Like you can't expect, all of my cousins and all of my family and all of my aunts and uncles are going to order from me. No, like they're probably going to go order from somebody else, and you can't get upset about that because it's just how life is. So like don't give up, don't get discouraged, don't let customer reviews think that you're going to fail or make you think that you're going to fail. Have patience, big time, because this, whether it's making cakes or whether you're cutting hair, I don't know, something, it's just patience. You're going to get to where you want to be. You just have to just let it happen on its own. You can't be in a rush. So yeah, don't give up, patience, and have fun. Like don't treat this as you're being a slave to what you are making or what you're doing. Like have fun while you're at it, like
it's part of the journey.
Exactly. Like think of it as, I don't know, like everyone says like, oh, think of your business as a baby or a kid or something, but I don't like to think of it that way. I'd like to think of it more as like a friend, like I'm taking care of my business, but I'm also like keeping that like boundary where I'm not letting it mix in with my personal life. So it's kind of like a acquaintance or something.
So what's he doing here?
Yeah, exactly. But that's really how it is, like you just have to take it serious, but not take it so serious. Like it's I don't know. It's just
take it serious enough to know that it's a business, but not so serious too, because you still can have fun.
Yeah.
You can still break dance and
No, seriously, like you can really have fun in whatever you do. I mean, it's part of my creativity and my artistic abilities is to just have fun and throw whatever I want to throw on a cake and do whatever I want to do. But yeah, like don't give up. Have a lot of patience. And with patience, like take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, because it's draining. It's going to drain the heck out of you. You know, you're going to forget to take care of yourself. You're going to forget to eat. You have to remind yourself to take care of yourself. So patience with everything, and then just have fun and, you know, just keep thinking outside the box and do what you do. And you're going to get to where you want to be, because it's going to happen. And just, you know, another thing is be positive. Like, you just have to be positive about anything that you're doing.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, exactly. Just be positive. You know, that's one thing that comes with, you know, don't give up. You know, just don't get into that negative mindset like, oh, I'm never going to get there, or, oh, there's so much competition out there. And no, you are your own competition. You can't get affected by what other people do,
it's
other
you
people's
versus
work.
you.
It's literally you versus you. Because I get baker friends that they come up to me and they're like, oh, did you see this person's work? Oh, whatever, like talking negative about them. And I'm like, what's the point of that? You know, like, why?
Yeah.
So it's literally you versus you. I take inspiration from other bakers, especially like DMV bakers, but I don't sit there and like hate on their work. Like, they all are amazing, and you know, they're gonna go above and beyond, but you just have to worry about yourself. And that's with any industry. Like, you know, you just can't focus. You can't steer your focus on others when you're trying to build an empire, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, you said it best, man. That's inspirational. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken a long time to learn that, though, because
right.
So
It's all comes
it's
with
part of the growing
right?
process. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mendy, again
Yeah.
for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
Take
for
two.
having me. Yeah.
Part two.
No worries.
We actually, let me give me 1 second.
Yeah.
We actually got you a gift because of the inconvenience. You know, it's just like, thank you for coming out. So when I say we, it's mostly Christine.
Okay.
She couldn't be here today.
Oh, that's okay. I'll open it.
Want to take a look at it? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is so cute. Oh my God, it's a makeup brush. Oh, this is awesome. This is so cool.
I don't know where she found that, but
wow, this is genius. So it's a makeup brush set, but it has little utensils like as a design.
Yeah, like the.
Oh my God, this is so cool. I love that. I've never seen this before. Thank you.
Services, the mask. Pen.
It's okay. You need that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. Baker's Gonna Bake. Oh,
Baker's
thank
Gonna
you
Bake.
guys. This is awesome. Oh, what's this?
So
oh my God, this is so
just for the
cool.
vision, you know, coming down the line from 5-10
this is
years from
amazing.
now.
Thank you so much, Kevin. You're gonna make me emotional right now. This is awesome. This is going to be me in 10 to 15 years.
This is right there. The
This
Silva
is
Whisk.
it. This is what's. Yep, this is it.
Maybe not exactly, but
no, I can just imagine this with sprinkles, like all decked out. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah. Well,
this is cool. I'm gonna keep this in my baking room, and I'm gonna look at this every single day. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you, Mandy.
This is awesome.
For bringing your words of wisdom, and just want to say, go out there and spark your legacy, girl.
Thank you. I'm trying.
If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe to follow for more content and for our future episodes. Thank you.